What's up, guys? I do apologize that I came a little bit late. I know this was supposed to be paused for 7:30, but I had to take my son to chemo, and I'm in the room now as him and my wife are doing the chemo. I think it's a 2 hour chemo today or 3 hour chemo today. It's a lower version. It usually starts at 300, then they lowered it down to 240, 240, 240. Then next week it's 180, which is a 20-minute chemo. But by the time they give him Benadryl, and by the time they give him flush, it takes like an hour or so or two. You have to wait for the pharmacist to bring in the chemo. It's not like the chemo is there; it has to be brought in from the pharmacist. So before we start, I would like to start off with a prayer. Okay, you start off with your prayer the way you want to. If you believe in God, you believe in God. If you don't, you don't. Amen. Right? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, and we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the freedom, deliver us from evil. Deliver us from evil. For thy kingdom, for the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Give us that day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, and we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I got confused there. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about today is about sobriety. We don't see, you see a lot of people in TikTok talking about this. You see a lot of people talking about that. You see a lot of politicians talk to you about the wars on drugs. You see a lot of presidents in the United States talk to you about the war on drugs, how fentanyl is coming from the United States, I mean from Mexico, and fentanyl is coming from here, and fentanyl is coming from there. But what we're not focusing on, and I'm going to tell you my story. I'm a 51-year-old ex-alcoholic. I used to drink. I drank for 25 years. I never shut up, but I did have a brother who unfortunately passed away due to the addiction of heroin. Um, what I want to say that we don't talk about is that it's the norm right now. It's the norm for people to drink, get drunk, and get high, and crash and kill people. And then when they get to court, they say, if you wouldn't have done this, you wouldn't have done that. And that's the sad part. We go around the country saying that, fentanyl is killing our people. Fentanyl is coming from the South. Man, listen, anyone that knows anything about the drug game, drugs is coming from everywhere. Not just Mexico, not just Europe, not just Puerto Rico, not just Caribbean, not just Colombia. They're coming from everywhere. Every parts of the world is getting here. It's getting manufactured here. But the truth of the matter is the sobriety. And I'm talking about sobriety because sobriety is very hard. And that's where I come in. I've been I was an alcoholic for 25 years. And it's pretty hard to leave sobriety. And why is it? Is it because you're hooked on it? Is it because you like it? For whatever reason it is, we have an alcohol problem in this country. And instead of talking about how we're going to stop the cartels, how we're going to stop doing this, because that hasn't even worked since Ronald Reagan said it. Our focus is how are we going to take these young men and women off the streets without violating their rights, put them into a program so they can get the help that they need. And that's the important part, getting the help that these young men and women need, because the streets are hard. Once they run away, or once a person starts drinking, it's kind of hard to get back. Okay, I drank because I was 14 years old. I got one beer led to another beer, but I didn't drink after my teenage years. I started drinking when I was like 18 years old. I'm 51 now, and I've been 10 years sober. So from the age of 18, I started drinking to the age of 41. And let me tell you something, it was hard. At first it was cool. I drank because I wanted to drink. I drank to keep my pain away. I drank because my ex-girlfriend left me at that time. And then that drinking became part of me. And then that drinking became a more intricate part of me. I woke up that I needed to drink. Not just middle of the day, no, I needed to drink. I forced my brain into believing that I needed alcohol in order for me to survive, in order for me to function as a human being. I wired my brain to think that I needed alcohol. Same thing with drug use. It is the same. It's the same concept, but there is a difference. And I tell you what, one of the keys to surviving alcoholism and addiction is that you have to admit that you want to be free, that you want to let go of all this. We have family members that tell us that we're no goods. We have family members tell us that we're not going to achieve anything, that we're always going to be alcoholics, that we're going to stay alcoholics, that we're going to be drug addicts, that we're not going to amount to anything. And that does instill inside you, that stays with you. And you say to yourself, why am I going to do good when my family's not with me? My brother, when he passed away, my brother died of an overdose of heroin in Puerto Rico. And he was doing good. He really was doing good. He had his own little job with my cousin. And he got into a little altercation with his ex-girlfriend in Puerto Rico. If you cursed your girl out, or vice versa, it's considered domestic violence. This is my man. Since my brother had a prior history, not of domestic violence, of the stupid shit that he did in Puerto Rico. So they gave him a domestic violence. So he was working with my cousin. He was doing good. So then he told the judge, here I am doing good, and you guys want to incarcerate me. Even if you incarcerate me, I'm going to kill myself. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't choke himself. He didn't do anything like that. But he believed that no matter how good, no matter what good things that I do, no matter how many times that I do things right, there's somewhere along the line that I mess up one little thing and it fucks everything up. And everybody judges me wrong. And that's where it hurt him the most. And that's when the addiction becomes a disease. Okay? Because alcoholism is not a disease. Addiction is not a disease. It's that thought. Because my brother was years in jail, and when he came out, the first thing he thought was hitting up. So that happened, and in that instant, mind you, I have 10 years sober, now 11 years sober. I thought to myself 2 years ago, I'm gonna start drinking because my brother died. But the minute that went through here, came out through here, I said, you know what? Wow, I stopped drinking in 2013. He passed away in 2022. Yeah, like maybe 2 years, 2021. It's only been close to 10 years. I said to myself, I'm not going to let go of 9 years of sobriety because my brother took his own life. My brother decided to use drugs. Okay, so this video is more of how we can deal with alcoholism and addiction. You don't see too many commercials on alcohol and addiction. You don't see too many commercials say if your family member is suffering from alcohol, if your family member is suffering from addiction, we have a place for them. Send them to us, because these are the things that should be free. These are things that should be free, but they're not free, unfortunately. They're not free. Like I said, one of the first steps is that you have to admit to yourself that you are an alcoholic and you have a drug problem. That is the first step. The second step is seeking that help. Don't be afraid to go into a rehab. Don't be afraid to go to your job and say, listen, boss, I'm having an alcohol problem, and I let you go to rehab, and I like your support that when I come out, I still have my job. They say no. You say no. You sue them. Because you're bettering yourself, and by you becoming better, you're becoming a better employee, a better husband, a better father, and that's beneficial. But the key here is that wanting to make that first step, and that's the key. When you decide that you want to stay sober, or that you want to go sober, or you want to go addicted, you want to be out of drugs, the first thing that you have to do, not besides saying that you're an addicted, that you're an addict, or that you're an alcoholic, the second thing that you have to do is you have to do it for you. Do not do it because of mom, don't do it because of pops, don't do it because of your daughters, don't do it because of them. It is a great thing to do, but you got to start doing it for you. Because when you do it for you, and let's say you relapse, you're not going to make your family feel bad. You feel bad because you're doing it for you. So you make that step. I'm doing this rehabilitation. I'm doing this detox. And if you don't want to do detox and you want to just stop on your own, you say, I'm doing this for me. Okay? Because once you do it for yourself, everything else will fall into place. Okay? Yes, you have to stay away from people, places, and things. And one of the key important things of all this, if an addiction is, you have to learn how to take things one day at a time. Forget about what happened yesterday. Forget about tomorrow because tomorrow's not there. Don't think about I gotta go to court. What's gonna do? So let me drink this. No, forget about that. That's not gonna get you nowhere. Oh my girlfriend, forget about that. Think about the today. This is what helped me out. When I woke up every morning for the first year, I said to myself, today I'm not going to drink. And I kept that in my mind. And no matter what happened to me today, or no matter what was going to happen to me tomorrow, because I don't harp on the past, I was not going to drink. And that's what kept me motivated. My wife's words, my wife's kind words saying, babe, we got this. I got you. Don't worry. We're going to go to this. We're going to pull this together. That motivated me even more because I had that support system. And I had me that said to myself, I really want. And guys, when I say I drank every day, you see this bottle in Puerto Rico, it's a little bottle like this big of Bacardi. I used to drink 3 of these a day from the morning to nighttime. From morning to nighttime. And then this wasn't even enough. And then I went up to the liter, which the liter's like this big. And that cost $10. I used to drink 1.5 of those a day for 5 years. This for 5, the other one for 5. And that's 10 years of pure alcoholism. I drank before in New York, in beer. But when I got to Puerto Rico, I started drinking hard liquor because the hard liquor in New York, in Puerto Rico, was much, much cheaper than the beer it is in New York. And I drank it with no soda, no nothing. I woke up with it. I went to sleep with it. Guys, I came to the point in my life where I got seizures on September 11th, 2001. I got twice seizures. I got one seizure in August the 3rd, August the 4th on my daughter's birthday, 2003. Okay? My hands used to shake. I couldn't do this unless I took a beer, unless I took a drink. I used to write like a baby. I couldn't function. And why couldn't I function? Because in my mind, and this is very important, in my mind, I said to myself, I cannot function without alcohol. If I don't have alcohol in my system, I can't function at all. So I would drink a beer. So first of all, I would drink a beer so my shakes can go down. And then after that, it was just drinking because I forced myself here mentality-wise. I was wired and said to myself, I need alcohol in order for me to survive. I need alcohol in order for me to function in society. I need alcohol in order for me to do things in society. I need alcohol even to talk to a girl because I was an extrovert at that time. And like I said, hearing the whispers from people here comes the alcoholic, here comes Gio, here comes this, here comes that. That touches you, but you don't let that bother you. Your main focus is the main focus. Look, the main focus when you get off that bed every day is you do a prayer. Whatever prayer you want to do, whether it's to God or to whoever you believe, whether it's to yourself, then make yourself that promise. Say, today I stand firm that I'm not going to drink. No matter what happens, I'm not going to drink. And set yourself goals. It's like I don't like doctors when doctors tell patients, it's okay to relapse. No, it's not okay to relapse because when you give us alcohol, I'm not an alcoholic, don't worry, because remember that. Once you stop drinking, you're no longer an alcoholic. You're a new man. Like when God tells you, when He forgives you for your sins and you get baptized, you're a new man. You're no longer that sinner. So you're no longer that alcoholic. So believe that you're no longer that alcoholic. So when you wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, today I'm not going to drink, believe it. When you get off that bed, believe it. Triumphant. No matter what happens to you during that day, believe it. that you are the king of your own destiny, that you don't need alcohol. You can hang out with people, you can do, and you can say no to yourself. I don't want drinks. What happened? You drink the other day. But that was the other day. I'm a changed man now. Oh, why you a changed man? Because your wifey? It is what it is, man. You think what you want to think. But it is. But like I said, for me, when doctors say relapse is okay, it's not okay. Because when you say you relapse, you're giving us a pillow to fall on. My doctor says it's okay to relapse. So I can relapse. It's not and they tell you it's not the time that you fall, it's the time that you get up. No, you don't want to fall. You don't want to get back up. You just want to keep on continuing on the success that you are doing. So you don't want to relapse. You don't want to give yourself that excuse. It's just like an addict. When an heroin addict, what do? They take him away from. Heroin, but yet they give him methadone. So you're substituting one drug for another, and people stay on methadone for years. And that's not the point. The point is to wean that person down, to keep them completely off of drugs. That's the thing to do. And that's why, it's easier for an alcoholic. Not as easier, but it's easier for an alcoholic to get hooked back on alcohol than it is for a drug addict, because alcohol is everywhere. In the streets, in the corner, in the supermarket, everywhere. Whereas the drugs, you have to go to a spot, you have to go and get it, and so it becomes hard. If any one of you get a chance to look at YouTube video, look at Kingston, Pennsylvania, and look how those people, unfortunately, how those people are living in the streets, addicted to drugs, on the floor, falling down. How many times they gotta be Narcaned? Because the system wants your vote. The system wants you to vote for them, Republican or Democrat. But yet, none of them, not even the governor of Pennsylvania, has gone down to Kingston. Not even the president of the United States has gone to Kingston to say, what are we going to do with these young men and women who are losing their lives? Forget about the war on drugs. That shit's still going to exist no matter what happens. No matter how much time, no matter how many times Barack Obama, Joe Biden, whatever they tell you, that's still going to exist. No matter how many years you're going to impose, you can give 20 to 30 or 40 years of life prison. It's not going to do anything. What we should do is that we should release all those young men and women who are in prison for low-level crimes, for marijuana use, stuff like that, and put real criminals in there. Because the fight of the war on drugs is not going to win. You need to fight the war on addiction. You need to find a way to take these young men and women away from the streets. These young women that we don't talk about, who flee their home, who are kidnapped, who are abducted. We don't talk about abduction in this country because we're too busy with Donald Trump. We're too busy about Biden. Who gives a fuck about them? Focus on what's important is our youth. Our kids are getting abducted. Once they get abducted, they get sold into the slave trade and they go into drugs. That's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on people who have addictions. How are we going to get them well so they can become a functional member of society? They can become a functional member to their own family. They can take care of the kids. They can feel sorry. They can feel good for themselves. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to have an addiction, but let's help them get back up. Darryl Strawberry has a great program, but Darryl Strawberry's program needs funding. Do you see other athletes doing funding? Do you see other athletes doing that? No, you don't. But we need programs like Darryl Strawberry so people can go. There are people who need these 30 days rehab, 40 days rehab. No, people need long-term rehab because you have to. The thing with alcohol, the thing with drugs, addiction is that you have to learn how to rewire your brain. You have to learn to go back to the way you were. It's like putting a computer on a reset mode and going back to the time it got messed up. And starting from there, that's what you need to do. And that takes time. That takes months. That could take years. But that's what you need to do. A 30-day program is not going to do it for you. A 40-day program is not going to. If you're really not alcoholic like I was, You need treatment. I stopped on my own, and I don't recommend it for nobody, but it's just me. I stopped on my own. I didn't want to go to AA. I thought that I could do it on my own, and I did. Thank God I did. But had I thought that I couldn't do it on my own, I would have gone into rehab. I would have gone to an extensive rehab because I know that. I told my brother, you don't need a 16-day rehab. You need an extensive stay so you can learn how to stay to people. You can learn how to stay away from people, places, and things. People influence you. Those people that were your friends when you were sober, when you were high, they and you lost them, and then you became sober. Those same people are going to try to come back into your life. Hey, what's up? What you doing? You go hit me up with $10, and there you go. And they're trying to catch you, and you innocently give them $10 here. You give them $10 there, and then that starts reeling you in. And you don't want to get reeled in. You say, listen, I got no money, man. You my boy, but it is what it is. How you doing? You all right? Yeah, but give me $10 because I'll give you food. You want me to buy you food? I got you for food, but I just can't give you that $10. And that's the way it is. And in today's politics, you don't see that. You see all these politicians, which I won't mention their name, about how it is the war on drugs, how we're letting fentanyl come in, how we're letting this come in from here, how we letting illegal immigrants come in, how we're letting illegal immigrants bring in drugs. Illegal immigrants don't bring in drugs. Okay, 85% of the people who are bringing in drugs and will get arrested over the border are Americans. That's just a fact. But I don't want to get into politics. So, how are we going to address the drug problem? How can we bring these young men and women from Kingston and places like Kingston and put them into a rehab? Because if you take them, I wish you could do like President Bukele was doing in Salvador. You just take them in, and, but what happens if you do that here in the United States? Then you're violating their rights. You're violating their civil rights because you're taking them against their will. Right? That's what the ACLU will say. But in the same token, they don't talk about how Governor DeSantis and Governor Bobbitt took all those illegal immigrants and they took them from one place and shipped them off to another place without their consent, telling them they're going to get them false jobs, telling them they're going to get jobs, which wasn't true. So that's okay. The United States does not say anything. The people don't say anything. But when you take someone out of their own will, say, you're going to do this program, you're going to stay in this program, and you're going to do as I say, then it becomes a violation of human rights. But it's not a violation of the human rights for you to take someone else from another country because he or she is illegally, and ship them to another state because you feel that your state shouldn't be having illegals. But yet your state's not doing anything for the drug problem. Your state's not doing anything to rehab drug addicts. You're not doing anything. So that's what we need to do. We need to address the alcohol problem. If you're out there and you're watching me and you have an addiction or you have an alcohol problem, I need you to stand up and say to yourself, today I'm not going to drink. I'm going to give everything up. And if you want to make it to tomorrow, because today you walk in, then you make it tomorrow. And you say tomorrow, once you wake up tomorrow, you say, today I'm not going to drink. Is it going to be hard? Yes. If you drink like I have, you might get the thrombosis or stuff like that. And if that happens, go to your local hospital, find out where they do rehab, so you can do yourself a 7-day detox. Stay sober for 7 days, and then after your day, you talk to your caseworker and say, listen, I want something more permanent. I want something that's going to last me 6 months to a year, because I really do want to change. I'm tired of being tired. That's the way I felt. I was tired of being tired. I had a friend of mine 3 years ago died of alcohol, and him and I drank the same way. And he died. And my liver's good, my pancreas, everything is good. But he died before I did. And when I saw him like that, but I said, we all have a destiny in life. He already did his, and I have mine. And if my destiny is to help you guys out, to do good, this is what I'm going to do. I need you. There's nothing much more better than to live a sober and drug-free life. I'm serious. There's nothing more. I mean, think about it. The way I said to myself, I already had my party. I drank my 20 some years. I had my daughters. Thank God. It's time for me to man up. It's time for me to start doing things that I need to do. Soon I'm going to die. 20 years is soon, 30 years is soon, and I want to leave a legacy behind. I don't want my kids knowing me that I was an alcoholic or that I died an alcoholic. I don't want my peers. I want to leave a legacy behind to say, you know what? Yes, Gio drank, but yet, Gio straightened out his life. Gio got this job, Gio got this, Gio got job. Gio don't want a mansion, Gio don't want a Ferrari, Gio don't want to be a millionaire. Gio wants to be happy. Gio wants to be happy with his family, with his kids. Gio wants to get a house. Gio has a house, but Gio wants more houses. Gio wants his kids to have houses. So when the legacy dies, when I die, my kids can say, this is what my dad left me. And their grandkids can say, this is what my grandpa left me. So they can learn, are we going to go through adversities? Yes, we are. But it's how we come out of those adversities that counts. Don't let anyone tell you anything different to say, no, you cannot do it. You're going to have family members. You're going to have friends. You're going to say, oh, look at this alcoholic walking down the street. Oh, look at this drug addict walking down the street. Don't pay no mind to that. Your sobriety, your cleanliness should mean more to you than anything else. And what I'm saying to you is true. Do you see sobriety commercials? Do you see programs for sobriety? Do you see programs for drug addictions? No, you don't. But you do see a lot of propaganda about let's vote for this person or let's vote for that person. Actually, that person. What has Joe Biden done for the addictions of drugs? Nothing. What did Donald Trump do for the addiction of drugs? Nothing. Barack Obama? Nothing. Because they don't care. They might tell you they do, but they don't. It's like Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson talks to you about this HIV once in a blue moon. But when have you seen a commercial of Magic Johnson truly tell you every week, use a condom, HIV still exists? Never. And I'm HIV positive. I've been positive for 21 years, and I wish someone gave me a platform. That gave me the platform that he has, so I can tell the young people the risk of HIV, because everybody thinks that HIV, because you see me that I'm like this HIV, this is what HIV looks like. No, if you looked at HIV 20, 30 years ago, this is not what HIV looked like. The HIV people look skinny, derelict, with sores. That's what HIV was 20 to 30 years ago. And now there's a lot of kids who are between the age of 14 to 22 who are getting HIV positive, who are becoming HIV positive, because they don't think, because there's no more messages out there to let them know that this disease still exists. And it's a shame. If I had this platform, I'd be going all over. If I was Charlie Sheen, I'll be Charlie Sheen. I will promote. Listen, this is what happened to me. I don't want to happen. I guess it's a shame. I don't know. But this is something that I wish that I had. So I want to start doing my platform through YouTube, through whatever the case may be, so I can get to you guys, because life is beautiful, life is gorgeous. Having sex is great, but having sex, it has to have a responsibility. Drinking is good, but drinking needs a responsibility. That doesn't mean that you become an addict, because becoming an addict is quick. Getting out of the addiction is the hard part. It's like smoking a cigarette. People say, I smoke a cigarette because it calms me down. No, it does not calm you down. That's what you say to yourself, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, I drink because my wife passed away. So your wife passed away. Life continues. That doesn't mean you're going to drink your life away because your wife passed away. She wouldn't want you to see dad because your life passed away, or because she passed away. Your wife wants you to do good. Your boss wants you to do good. So we have to advocate for one another. You know, whomever sees this, I want you to pass it on to somebody else and say to yourself, you know what? You're not an addict. You don't have enough. You know, the doctor says, oh, this is a disease. No, this is not a disease. This is an addiction. Cancer is a disease. Syphilis is a disease. This what you have, whether it's alcohol, drugs, is an addiction. An addiction that is unfortunately caused by you, but that same addiction that is caused by you or was caused by you, that same addiction can be taken away by you. There are tools that you can do that can take that away. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not. But it can be done. Wake up every morning, pray to God, do something different. Stay away from people, places, and things until you can be with those people, places, things, and you don't get no triggers. I get no triggers. I serve drinks. I get no triggers. I go to bars and play with my friends. I get no triggers because in here, I already put, once I passed a certain goal in life, when I was drinking, I always stopped drinking. I did it 3 times, and on the 10th month, for some odd reason, I always went back. For some odd reason, I went back. I'm like, what's going on? My last time was in August of 2012 when I went to see my daughter for the first time. I was 10 months sober, and when I got to Florida, for some odd reason, I drank, and I got me scared. So I drank from that August 2022, August 12, 2012, all the way back, went to July of 2013. In July of 2013, I said, that's it. I'm not drinking no more. And I said to myself, and I said to my wife, babe, if I can stay away and I can pass 10 months of sobriety, that's it. I'm not drinking no more. That 10th month here held me back. And once that 10th month came, I was scared. I was petrified. I did everything possible to keep my mind occupied. And when that 10th month went away and it became the 11th month, I jumped up for joy and I said, no more drinking. And that was in July. That was in July. I stopped drinking in July. And I was in like around October of 2013 that I said no more. That's it. It's something around there. But every July I celebrate my year of sobriety. So I've been 10 years now. Yeah, 10 years. I have not had a drink at all. There are beers out there that they say they have no alcohol contacts. I say to myself, sometimes I say to myself, I want to taste how it is, but I don't want to because I know even if it doesn't have alcohol, it's going to trigger me something, and then I want to go back to the alcohol. And then the saddest thing is that you've accomplished, whether you accomplish one day, or you accomplish 2 days, or you accomplish 1 year, or you accomplish 2 years, you have thrown that all away. And I don't like saying we're going to start all over again. No, we're not going to start all over again. You fell, you pick back up. It's just another day. You got 4 days clean. You messed up. You still got 3. You're going to go on for the next one. Now you got 4. Now you got 5. We're not starting all over again. We're not doing this all over again thing. We're starting. We drop 1 day off. That's it. We go back. And you have to have that straight mentality. If you're a family member and you don't know how to get to your family to stop drinking, I would say sit down with that family member. An addict and a drug addict is different because a drug addict has to have that money to get that drug, and that's the time that you have to get that drug addict when that person does not have the money. You say, you know what, babe, why don't we go to rehab? Why don't you let me take you to rehab? Do you want to stop? Look, I'll be there for you no matter what happens. And that's the time that you take him. That person wants to, they want to. That person don't, they don't. But that's the time that you take him because that window of opportunity for a drug addict is this small. Because once that person gets that money, they're gone. An alcoholic, it's different. An alcoholic wakes up, you talk to them, let's go to rehab, let's do something different. And that's what you have to do. You have to do something different. The monotony stays the same. If there's a monotony, you're going to still stay the same way. But you have to want to say to yourself, I want to sober up. I want to stay clean. And forget about the naysayers. Oh, you're an alcoholic. You're going to stay an alcoholic. You're just doing this. But you did this last week. Or you did this 2 years ago. And look what happened to you. Forget about that. That was last year. The enemy is going to teach you. He's going to try to teach you that, throw you down, anything. But you're going to have to want this. You're going to want to have to say to yourself, "This is what I want. I want to stay sober. I want to do good. I'm tired of being tired." And that's what you need to do. And then once you see that, you're going to see your whole life change, because as an alcoholic or drug addict, we don't see the pain that we're causing other people. We just don't see it. You don't see the pain that you're causing your wife. You don't see the pain you're causing your kids. You don't see the pain that you're causing your mom, saying, "Look at my son, look at my daughter, how bad they're doing. There's nothing that I can do." That's causing them pain. And once you get sober, once you get clean, you see all that pain go away, and you see them embrace you. You see them touch you. You're gonna feel that love that you thought that you never had, but you always did. Don't let your past control your future. Don't let your present control your future. Whatever happens today, do whatever the best way that you can, but stay away from drugs. Young kids out there, if you're having a problem with your mom or your dad, don't sort out to drugs. Don't go out there into the streets having these wackos say, "You know what? Don't worry about your mom. Don't worry about your dad. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to treat you like your mother and father has never treated you before. I'm going to treat you, and I'm going to give you the things that your parents never would do." You know what's going to happen? They're going to take you out there and they're going to pimp you. You'll be having sex with these older men that you don't want to have sex with, because you're young, you want to enjoy life. And they're going to take your money and they're going to do things with you. And the next thing you know, you could be on drugs. Because why? Because we as adolescents, we don't want to listen to our parents. We as adolescents, we don't want to do things that our parents say. We don't want to be home at a certain time. We don't want to clean our rooms. We don't want to brush our teeth. We don't want to do our homework because we think that's too much. But it's not. But there are other circumstances where parents are assholes. And if your parents are assholes, go to your local CPS. If your parents are assholes, go to your to a neighbor's house. If your parents are assholes, go somewhere. Go somewhere safe. Look for an agency that's going to help you for adolescents, because they have them out there. Just don't go out there in the street running away thinking that that's going to solve your problems, because your parents or whomever it is taking care of you. It's not treating you right. There are ways to get out of a horrible situation. If you're being molested by a family member, tell someone. Go to the cops. If you think that no one's going to believe you, you got phones today nowadays. Record them. Put somewhere where they don't see it and record what they're doing. And you take that recording to the cops. You say, "This is what my uncle, my aunt, my father, my mother, this is what they're doing to me." So they can stop and other kids don't get abused. But don't get caught in the trap that you're not worth anything, but you are. Don't get caught in the trap saying to yourself, "You know what, I'm drinking this because my wife left me. I'm drinking this because my life is not my life. It's not the way that I wanted it to be, so I'm going to drink it away." Even if you drink this away, when you wake up from it and you sober up, that problem is still going to be there. You know that alcohol is a depressant. It gets you more depressed than what you already are. So why would you want to be more depressed than what you already are? If things are not going the way that you want them to in life, look for a way so that they can go the way that you want them to. They may not go the same way you want them to that same day, but if you work hard on it, it will happen. Ask God. For me, God has always been there for me. God has never let me down. I let myself down. I let God down. But I see God, and God says, "No matter what happens, you're my son. I will forgive you, no matter what you do." And that's the way you gotta say to yourself, "I'm going to forgive me for what I did." So it's the same way. So if you want to stop drinking, you want to stop smoking, you have to change that mentality. That I want to do this. I don't need this. Say to yourself, "I don't need this." I guarantee you, if you see anything from today, you want to stop drinking, you want to stop alcohol, drug addict and stuff like that, and you don't want to go to rehab, but you want to do this on your own. But I don't. I suggest for drug addicts you go to rehab. But this is not professional opinion. This is my opinion. It's not medical advice. Um, Say to yourself, today I'm not going to drink. Today I'm not going to use. I can't talk about tomorrow because tomorrow's not here. In the past, it's the past. But for today, I'm not going to drink. So no matter what happens to you today, no matter anything that happens to you, you just don't drink. And you're going to see the difference. You're going to say, wow, I didn't have a drink today. Comes tomorrow, you wake up, I'm not going to have a drink today. It comes the enemy. Hey, yo, Bob, you want a drink? Nah, I'm all right, man. I'm cool. You sure, man? You sure? Hey, I'm sure. Come on, man. You don't tell me you're going to be that pussy. You're going to stop. You're going to go old holy on me and stop drinking. Yo, it is what it is, man. But thanks, I don't want. And that's how you start. You got to start putting your mind back to where it was when you first started drinking. You got to rewire your mind. You got to rewire your whole entire train of thought. And once you learn how to do that, because it's not going to be easy, once you learn how to do that, it'll be easier day by day by day to say no to alcohol, to say no to drugs. A lot of people, a lot of these politicians say, "Well, I don't want a drug house around my neighborhood so they can come in and shoot." You don't have to do that around your neighborhood. You could take somewhere isolated, and you could take these drug addicts, put them in there with some social workers, and if they have their own drugs, let them do their own drugs. And once they come out of that drug, you have a social worker talk to them and say, you know what? Why don't you go to a program? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Because that's the window of opportunity that you have with addicts. You have that window to opportunity to touch their lives, and they say, you know what? Yeah, I really do want to change. Because most of these people who get addicted and they're in the streets, they don't go back because they're ashamed. Because they know that their parents are going to say, you're an addict, I don't want you here, stay outside. And you don't do that to your son. You don't do that to your daughter. You embrace your daughter. If your daughter is stealing from you, you take everything away. If your son is stealing from you, you take everything away. You embrace that welcome. But people like that, us people, we do need help. We do need that I love you. I'm here for you. Not that you're an addict, you're gonna steal, get away from me. All you do is mess everything up. You don't do that because they're human beings. We're human beings who fell through an abyss that is so deep that we can't get out of because our mind has succumbed to us to say that we need this drug, that we need this alcohol, and we don't know how to get out. Easy to get in, but it's hard to get out. A psychiatrist can tell you millions of things, but a psychiatrist does not know what it is to be an alcoholic, what it is to be a drug addict. They only know because of what they hear. There are some psychiatrists and there are some psychologists who were alcoholics and who were drug addicts and who they can tell you how they survived, how they became successful. Because sobriety to alcohol, sobriety to addiction can be achieved. Trust me, 20 years in the making. I'm telling you, I wish you were with me 20 years ago. You could see, wow, look at the way Gio drinks. He drinks like a fish. I didn't go to no AA, I don't know none of that. I went to some rehab because I had no other choice to go to rehab because of probation, or I was out in the streets. I had nowhere to go. But it came a time in 2013 that I was making out. I mean, the toilet was my God. And I was throwing up and I was heaving and blood was coming. I said, that's it. Enough is enough. I'm tired of this. I am tired. I one time, 3 months before that, I heard my mom tell my wife, he ain't gonna change. He's always gonna be an alcoholic. And that stood in my mind. So then I decided, I said, my father was an alcoholic for 20 some odd years. And he wasn't the best father in the world. Not because of that, but because of other things. But I said, let me ask you a question. Why made you stop drinking? He goes, why? I said, because I want to stop. I said, listen, he said this, and it's not going to be easy, but the only advice that I'm going to give you is to take it one day at a time. And fuck, that is the only good advice that the motherfucker ever gave me. And that's exactly what I said. I said, if this motherfucker could do it, and my dad was an alcoholic, I think him and I could be the same way. But I said, if he could stop drinking, why can I? He's not better than me. I'm not better than him. And that's what I did. The following day, I woke up, I prayed to God, and I said, today, I'm not going to drink. And I kept it in the calendar. And like I said, once I reached the 10th month, I was kind of scared. But once that 10th month went away, and I got to the 11th month, I told my wife, that's it. I am not drinking no more. And when I tell you, I am a food and beverage manager. I work at an airline right now, but I'm by trade, I'm a food and beverage manager. I can do any drink. I can work to you in any restaurant. I can be a waiter. I can serve you. I can serve you alcohol. I can hang out with you at a bar. And it doesn't bother me because I already been there, done that. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to go back to the lifestyle where I was porning everything, or I wasn't showering, or I was looking for my next beer so I can watch TV, so I can think in myself that I was doing good, that I needed to function when I didn't need to function, when I could have functioned naturally. You become, hold on a minute. Sorry about that, it was cold. You become the person that you want to be. Don't let other people tell you who you are. Okay, I can make these videos in manners of 10 minutes here, then 10 minutes there, so I can get more clout. But I want to be more one-on-one on you, so that when you get this urgency of I want to drink, do something else, talk to someone. Remember, the urge of alcohol, the urge of addiction only lasts a few seconds. And if you find something that can distract you from that, then do it. If you're having an argument with your wife or your husband, oh, I can't take it anymore, don't go outside and drink. Don't go outside and do drugs. Because that's not going to do anything for you. Do something different. Treat yourself to nails. Treat yourself to a haircut. Go to the movies. Find something good to do to distract you from that precise moment. Because you don't want to go back. That's the mind. Your mind is telling you, this woman or this man is getting me pissed off. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Because you go back to the things that you know how to do. And you think that drinking or using drugs is the only thing that you can do. It's the only thing that you're good at. But you're not. You're good at a lot of things. You just got to believe in yourself that you can do it. I believe that everyone who's watching is clean. You're just gonna have to want the same way you wanted that car, the same way you wanted that girl when you were a kid, the same way you wanted those sneakers when you were a kid, and your mom said you gotta work for it. And that's it. Work for your sobriety. Work for your addiction. Make it happen. It can be done. And people, if you are in any way, shape, or form that you see yourself that you cannot make it, you can always drop me a line. You can say, "Hey, King G, I need someone to talk to." I always have my notification on YouTube, and if you leave me a number or you leave me an email, and with a number in the email, I'll get back to you in a heartbeat. No matter what I'm doing, I'll get back to you because your sobriety, your life means more to me than whatever I'm doing at that moment. Because I want you to function. I want you to feel how you felt before you were an addict, and before you were an alcoholic. Like I said, wife cheats, let her cheat. Job left you, get another job. My friend don't talk to me. Oh well, my car's not running. What am I gonna do? Wait, work, and get another car or get another mechanic. There are solutions to every problems that we have in life. And if we go into alcoholism to solve them, or if we go into drugs this album, we're not going to do anything. We're really not. We're really not. And I devoted myself to like I said before, Magic Johnson doesn't do this. Darryl Strawberry does because I like Darryl Strawberry. That's why I like Darryl Strawberry. He has a camp in Florida that he does help addicts. He does help drug addicts. And if in any way, if you think that we should do this every day, like for an hour or so, and you guys want to come on and you want to talk about your problem, you can do it anonymously. You want to vent instead of going somewhere else outside, then we can do that. We can make and we can do our own little thing here, so that we can all benefit. Because I may not be an addict, but I will benefit knowing that you are doing great. That is my satisfaction. How many guys? I saw something that I did not like. All right. And that's what you have to do. You have to start taking pride in you. Don't you think that I want to, on a Sunday night, get myself a beer and watch my Jets? Yes, I'm a Jets fan. And watch my Jets play? But I can't. Or watch my New York Mets play, or my New York Mets team play? Yes, I'm a Mets fan. And drinking beer? But I can't. Because I know up in here that if I take one little drink, that's it. It's history. I can't be a social drinker because I was never a social drinker. I was just a plain alcoholic. I wish I could drink on the weekends. I wish I could have my beer here and there, because I do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do enjoy my beer, but I don't, because I know that if I do, it's gonna take away from everything that I've had now. I mean, I bought a house, I got a car. I'm not rich. I'm not making any money, to be honest with you. All I make is $13 an hour. $13 an hour. Here I am in this hotel room because my son's getting chemotherapy and we're going through a lot. And all I make is 13 hours. My wife is handicapped. What kind of income do I got? Nothing. But I try every single day to be a better me. I try every single day to be sober. I'm never going back to drinking. And I do. And I do these videos so that someone who's in my shoes can say, wow, Gio makes sense. I'm going to do what he does. I want to stop. I don't want to live this life anymore. Like I said, I don't have to be rich. I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be a millionaire. I am happy with what I have right now. $13 an hour, working for an airline who does not deserve me, because I am way, way too cordial and too courteous. But I am here with my wife, doing chemo with my son, so my son can have a future. And I go one day dead, when I die, and say, my son is okay. Like I said, I'm not rich. I don't make money. I was making a little bit of money, a little bit, when I got demonetized. But Facebook is Facebook. I give props to Mr. Beast, the things that he does. I mean, I agree with his videos, but we all to each his own, And he's making millions of dollars, and supposedly he's giving millions of dollars away, I'm not asking for none of that. But if I did become that rich, if I became that famous, whether the YouTube or the case may be, I'd be giving my money away. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to take it with me. I would love to go to a place where I can open up waters for people to drink. There are places in the world that people don't have access to water because the government don't allow it, or the government doesn't want to put the resources to it. When people are living in the streets, we got people in this country who are living in the streets. Some of them because they can't afford it. But I would love to everyone in this world to have somewhere to go outside, somewhere to live. You know, it's not easy living this life, but it can be done. It can be done. And if you need me to help you, please let me know. If you need me to find out somewhere that would help you, let me know. I fly for free, so I can tell you when my day's off. And if you want to meet somewhere, I would fly to you. I would do that because your health, your mental health, your physical health, and your health in general means a lot to me. Though I don't know you, but it means a lot because I want to see you succeed. I want you to wake up every morning and say, today is my last day. Today I'm not going to drink. And you say that so much that you forget. When was the last time that you said, I forgot when was the last time I said I was not going to drink? I had my brother, before he passed away, stay with me. And I said, if you want to stay with me, you're going to have to go to a program. Because I want you, because my brother was not the type of person who was able to do it on his own, but I wanted him program. I said, you have to be in a long-term program so you can learn to stay away from the people, places, and things, so you can learn how to control your urges, so you can learn how to control your triggers. You see, I never had a trigger because I always drank alone. I never drank with nobody. I didn't drink because I had a problem. I didn't drink because I didn't have a job. I didn't drink. I just drank. And that drinking became part of my life that I believed that I needed it to drink. That was my belief. And my brother was in jail for so many years. The first thing he did when he came out of jail was use. So that became a problem. Now that's a problem. Now that's no longer an addiction. Now that's a problem that needs to be seen by a professional so that he can learn to say, because my brother had this thing that if I'm not doing any good, or if I'm doing good and people are still chastising me, so why am I going to continue doing good? So I might as well just continue doing bad. And it is what it is, and I roll the dice. And that's what happened. And that's what happens with a lot of people. That's what happens with a lot of young kids who commit suicide. Or this person is bullying me, so I'm going to kill myself. This person is doing that. Bullying is no fun. Why would you bully somebody? Bullying needs to be put in their place, but schools don't do anything. Kids don't tell their parents don't do anything. They are afraid. And that's how you have young kids killing themselves because they're being cyberbullied. How can you be cyberbullied? Just turn them off. But it is what it is. And this is a reality that we are living in. We're not going to win the war on drugs, guys. But we can open up more centers for rehab and for drug addicts. We can put these young men and women in these drug rehabilitations, and we can teach them how to sew. We can teach them how to make wood. We can teach them how to plumbing, air conditioning. We can teach them, make them when they get like a vocation, so that when they get out of there, they know they have a job to go to. Hire places that says, this person was an addict, but I need you to give this person a chance. Help me out. Do one of these, hold on a minute. Into my nose. I have a deviated septum. So, something that I gotta get rid of too. And have them, and have them work. Why do you think recidivism happens so much in prison? Because the prison itself doesn't have the capacity, or wishes not to have the capacity, to rehabilitate these young men and women. They don't have a GED, let them get a GED. That's the requirement. Once you get out of prison, you have to do this. Teach them while they're in there. Send them to the Army. Send them to the Marines. Don't sentence them to 2 or 3 years. Send them to the Army, send them to the Marines. And if in the Army and in the Marine, When they get out and they start doing the same thing all over again, and you give them a harsh sentence because you say, you know what, I gave you a shot of a lifetime. You had a shot to become someone when you were in the Marines and when you were in the Army, and you took that shot once you got out, and you ruined it. So now I'm gonna give you a hard time, but at least give that person that opportunity. You know, give yourself that opportunity to be sober. Give yourself that opportunity to be clean. Give yourself that opportunity to say, I am somebody. I am the mother of this woman. I am the son of this man. I am the father of this child. I am the husband to this wife. And if you don't have nobody that you can say that to, you say, I am the man to me. I am the son of a God. You have a purpose in this life. Drinking and alcohol is not one of them. If you drank for 20 years, you had your fun, stop. Enjoy the rest of your life. Enjoy it. I've seen people die in deathbed because of alcohol and drug abuse. You don't want to go through that. You don't want to be there. No matter how bad life is, there is always a way out. Always. I'm not talking about suicide. No. There's always a way out. You just gotta find this. You just gotta find the solution. If you're in New York and things ain't working out in New York, go to another state. Get a little bit of money. Go to another state. Start there. Look out for the shelters. If you have to stay in a shelter, you have to start small. Do it. Don't be afraid to start all over again. There's nothing wrong with starting all over again. The point is that you remove yourself from that toxic thing, and then you go and you start all over. The same way that you would in a relationship. When you are in a toxic relationship with a man or a woman, and it's toxic, it's time to move away and go somewhere else. Because women have a tendency to say to themselves, that's the only man that I love. Even though he hits me, even though he beats me, even though he abuses me, he loves me, that's the only man that I know. Not knowing there are millions and millions of men out there who are willing to treat her the same way he wants to be treated, the same way, in the same token, there are men out there who are stuck with women because they say, this is the only way that I know she's the only one to treat me this way. Yeah, she may abuse me, she may hit me, she may verbally abuse me, but that's the only woman that I know. Not knowing there are millions of women out there who can treat him way better than she treats him. It's the monotony. We get stuck, and that's where it is. It's like quicksand bringing you down. Gotta learn how to take yourself out of that quicksand and say to yourself, wipe yourself and say, I don't need this. I don't need you. I was born without you and I'm going to die without you. I don't need you. I need someone who's going to uplift me. I need someone who's going to be there with me. I need someone who's going to encourage me. So I'm telling you, if you need me to sponsor you on your addiction recovery, if you need me to sponsor you in your alcohol recovery, let me know. I'm not done with AA, but if you need someone to talk to, you need someone to vent, I will be there for you. I will help you out. But the thing is that you're going to have to want to help yourself out. Hi, Soren. You're going to have to want to help yourself out. And it's important. And I know it's hard to say, oh, I don't want to stop drinking today. It's kind of hard, blah, blah, blah. But it can't be done. You need it. You need sobriety. Sobriety life is beautiful. Look at me. But sobriety life is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being sober. It is the best. It's the best feeling that you're going to get in the world. Yes, Soaring, Siorba, I see your chats. You said hi. Thank you. And it's the best feeling there is in the world. I wouldn't change it for the world. Like I said, when my brother passed away in November of 2021, 2021, I got a call and say, hey, Gio, my brother died. I was just closing the store. I was a manager of Red Lobster. I was closing the store, and my brain was, 40 years old. 40 years old. He had just celebrated his 40th birthday a month before. And I said to myself, I want to drink. But the minute that that thought went into my brain, that same minute it came back out. Because why? Because I said to myself, well, I didn't tell him. Thank you, Soren. I didn't tell him to drink. I didn't tell him to use drugs. I didn't tell him to shoot up. I didn't tell him none of those things. That's a choice that he made. The same way I chose to sober up, the same way that I chose to do this is the same way he chose. And my brother admired me because of the way I stopped drinking. Like I stopped drinking cold turkey. And I always told him, I'll help you. I'll be there for you. But they didn't want to listen. The drug had more effect on him. And then the people he was hanging out with, he kept hanging out with the same derelicts. Not those people that are like, yo, Gio, Raymond, I'm gonna help you out. Yo, what you need? Yo, let's go get a job. And my brother had a job. My brother was working with my cousin in construction in Puerto Rico. He had his own place. He had his own car. But going to jail because of a woman, because he called a woman a bitch in Puerto Rico, that's called domestic violence. And you see how to reckon before, not for domestic violence, but when you happen to reckon, they told him, I'm going to give you 11 months in prison. He goes, oh, give me a rehab. Yes, he was addicted. He was an addict. He was an addict for 20 years. And my brother was from old school. My brother's done like 6-7 years in prison. But every time he comes out, he goes to do drugs. And that tells you have a problem. So when he went to court, the judge told him, we're gonna offer you 11 years or whatever the case may be. He's like, well, if you put me in prison, I'm gonna kill myself. And that's what he did. So I asked him, I said, yo, let me ask you something. How long have you been there? He goes, 11 months. I said, how much are they offering you? A year and a half. I said, yo, fucking take that year and a half. You're OG. Take that year and a half and get this shit over and done with. And you don't have to deal with the court system. And you don't have to deal with that psycho girl. Because I told him, stay away from that girl. That girl is no good. She called you, a girl that calls you a cop one time for no apparent reason. That girl's not good for you. But my brother didn't listen. He didn't have that mentality, unfortunately. But I love him to death. I miss him every day. I wish he was here. But there's nothing that I can do. Those life choices that he chose, same way that I choose mine. I try to help him out, and this is why I want to do these type of videos, so I can help you out, or I can help a family member out. Because it's not easy being on drugs. It's not easy being on alcohol. We're wasting our talent. We're wasting our lives while drug addicts, while drug dealers are getting richer, while Budweiser, Coors Light, and all of them are getting their money. We are losing ours. Oh yes, my family miss him so much. He only passed away 2 years ago. He passed away November 7th. He celebrated his birthday in October. In November, he passed away. So yes, he's missed. He's missed, but he's not forgotten. And that's the important part. We're all going to die. We all going to die. So that's the truth. It's how we die, how we live our lives. That's important. Some people live their lives doing drugs and alcohol because that's all they know how to do. But we need a system that's going to say, you know what, we're not going to win the war on drugs, but what we can do is that we can open up rehab centers, we can open up alcohol centers, we can have detox centers, and we can have these people in there. We can have people in here seeking help in a heartbeat, because most people don't know where to go. Because you don't see fucking commercials saying come to detox. You don't see commercials say do this, do that. You don't see that shit here in this country. You don't see a pamphlet on a bus, if you have a drug problem, come to detox. Or you don't see counselors going to the streets with these alcoholics and say, listen, let me talk to you. I'm Counselor Gio. Let me talk to you about the ramifications of alcohol or drugs. Would you want to? Would you want to go to a drug rehab? The first thing they say, oh, do you have Medicaid? Forget about Medicaid. Do you? Would you like to come with me, and I could take you to a rehab center and we can start this process? Yeah, I would like to. Most of them would say yes because they're tired of being tired. They want a good meal. And they go out and do the same thing. Okay, fine. But you're doing your job. You're trying to help. And out of 20 people, 30 people, you're going to help one or two. And that's what matters. Yes, we're all going to die one day and the world's going to become, it's going to be, it's going to remain unhappy and uninhabited. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the point of life. The point of life to life is to live and die to do the best that you can. Love God, love thy neighbor, help everybody out, and that's the point of life. But you're gonna have to want to have that. And most people, when you're on drugs, you don't have that, and that's unfortunate. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Soren. We need not in just this country, another country, but I'm talking about America because I don't live in another country. That we need to stop saying, let's stop doing the drug, let's stop the war on drugs. Oh, the fentanyl is coming through here. The fentanyl is coming through there. Fentanyl is coming from everywhere. It does not matter if it's coming from South America, North. It's coming from everywhere. But they want to blame the South because that's what the Mexicans are. So they want to blame the South, and then people who are Republicans say, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's coming." Those who don't know anything about drugs, they come from everywhere. Yes, respect to God, amen. They come from everywhere. And you have to address the problem. And how do you address the problems? Let's take these young men and women out of the streets and put them in a program and let them feel good. Thank you, Axel. Let them feel good because when you go at home sometime, these kids or these men and women feel like shit because they have to go back to a shitty wife. They have to go back to a shitty relationship. They have to go back to a shitty job. And the only way they can cope with it is through drugs. So you say, well, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be with a wife. I don't want to be a shitty job. I want to go to rehab. I want to rehab me. And the job is there. The job is there. The wife is there. The wife is there. If it's not, don't worry about it. You're still going to be on you. You get yourself a new job. You get yourself a new wife. You can't get yourself new kids, but you get yourself a new wife. And that's what matters. You is the one that matters to you. So when you decide that you want to take this journey into sobriety, don't do it because of your wife. Don't do it because of your job. Don't do it because of your kids. Do it for you. Because you, at the end of the day, is the one that matters. Yes, you're in your bed, and yes, your wife can support you. Yes, your wife can do this. Your kids can do this. But at the end of the day, it's you. You're the one that's going to have to want to do it. And if in the process you lose a job, you lose this, you lose that, that's fine. Because God's going to provide for you. God's going to give you everything that you lost. He's going to give it back to you. Especially when you turn your life over to him. Because you're turning your life over to him, he is going to give it back to you tenfold. He took everything away from Job because the devil told him, this man is going to stray if I take everything from him. God said, I dare you, but don't take away his life. And he did, and then he multiplied, he doubled everything that he had because of his faith. No problem, Soren. Thank you and subscribe. And that's what's important. The important part here is that you want to change. That you want to make the change. You don't want to let someone tell you, you're an alcoholic or you get a DUI and a judge tells you that you have to go to a drug court and you have to go to rehab. You don't want to go through that because you're being told what to do. And then you're not gonna do it. You're gonna keep on doing the same thing over again. You want to do it because you want to do it. You want to do it because you feel internally, that you need to do it. That's what you want to do. You're gonna have to want to do it. And like I said, guys, before this video goes off, if you need any help, if you need any advice, leave me your email. I will get back to you. If you want to talk, it doesn't matter what time it is. You just give me email because I get me a notification. I will call you right back and we will chat. Because I want you to survive. I want you to be sober. I want you to be clean. I want you to be that old self of yours. If you were a son of a bitch back then while you were drinking, and you're not a son of a bitch now because you're drinking, I want you to be that son of a bitch but sober. Of course, when Axel, when you're sober, you think better, you smell better, you think you rationalize better, you make better decisions. How many people have been in jail because they've been drunk? Because had that had or high, had they not been high or had they not been drunk, they would have never been in jail. Because when we are impaired, we make stupid decisions that we regret later on in life. The judge is going to say, "Oh, that's your problem, not mine. I'm going to still sentence you to a year." It becomes our problem. So why put ourselves to that? I've had family members say, "Hey, Gio, do you remember when you did this?" No, because I was so drunk and I was blacked out that I don't remember. I remember some of it. I remember my wedding, my kids being born. I remember, but there are some things that I wish I could remember that I don't remember because I drank so much. And there's nothing wrong when you're sober and you start smelling air that you've never smelled before, smelling things that you never, having a sense of smell that you've never had before. You know, you're like, wow, I smell good. Oh, that smells good. Because when you drink, those senses go away. When someone tells me, "Hey, you're not drinking," yeah, you're doing good. That gives you that boost. You're gonna have your assholes. They're gonna say, "Oh, look at Gio. He's a condescending little bitch. You don't talk to us no more because he's not drinking and we are we too low class." No, it's not that you low class. You're still my boy, but you're drinking. And as long as you're drinking, I cannot be around you. I'll give you food, but I cannot be around you. Because by me being around you, unless you're willing to let me help you, unless you're willing to take my words and do as I say and go to rehab, then we can hang out. And we could do that. But you're drinking every day, you're doing drugs every day. I can't hang out with you. I'm sorry. In the act of you hanging out, that person's doing drugs, they're looking for them, they kill you, they kill him, and blah, blah. I can't hang out with you. That's what they say. You gotta stay away from people, places, and things. Like I said, and I'm doing this video, and hopefully you guys can post it or it can get a lot of views because I don't see it. Look, I want you to look at it. You don't see every day a commercial on sobriety. You don't see on a school bus, or not a school bus, you don't see on a bus or anywhere else on a subway where it says, "Do you want to get sober?" Sometimes you say you want to quit smoking, but you don't say, "We can help you get sober. Here's our number." Or you don't, if you live in the Bronx, you don't say Lincoln Hospital, say Lincoln Hospital has a bed for you if you are an addict. We have a bed for you. Come on in. None do. I cannot tell you about the West Coast because I don't live in the West Coast, but I can tell you here in North Carolina and when I lived in New York, that never happened. I only knew about rehab because some other addicts told me, "Yo, there's a rehab center right there," or else I wouldn't have known. Or else I would have never have known. Because they don't promote. Because I think they don't promote because they don't want people who come from another country thinking that we have an alcohol problem or that we have a drug problem. So we're supposed to be the better country of everybody. We're supposed to help these individuals so that when they do come out sober and they do come out clean, they become productive members to society. They become productive members to their family. And they become a better human being because there's nothing wrong with these young men and women in the first place. The only thing wrong with them is their addiction. And since they're so hooked up in that addiction, they don't know how to let go. They don't know. Some of them do cry for help and they tell you, "Help me." And I've seen it, but they don't know how to help themselves. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They hear stories. They hear stories. They hear stories. They hear stories about how rehab is. And no, rehab, depending on the rehab that you go to, it's cool. I went to a rehab where you play tennis. A rehab where you ate with where you ate with the with staff members. You play tennis. You have pool. depending on the rehab that you go to, and you get to new people. Out of all those people that you go to rehab, some may relapse, and some of them are not there because of that. Some of them are there because they had no place to go. But you don't have to worry about that because you're going for you. You're not going because of Tom. You're not going to be Jerry. You're going because of you. You're going because of your sobriety, because of your addiction. Everybody else goes there for a different story, but you're going for you, and that's what matters. Is you. You gotta matter to you. It's great that you matter to your mother. It's great that you matter to your father. It's great that you matter to your kids. It's great that you matter to your wife. It's great that you matter to your boss. But it's even better when you matter to you. When you matter to you and you do things that matters to you in a positive way that's going to change you in a good way, you're going to see the changes. And you're going to say to yourself, I feel good. I wake up every morning, I feel great. Besides the arthritis that I have, if it wasn't for the arthritis, I'd be great shape. But I don't think about that. I think about, today I am sober. Guys, I had a lot of things in Puerto Rico that I lost because of alcoholism. I had to, you don't know the struggles that I went to get my own house with my wife. My own house. Went from welfare to shelter to doing credit repair, something that I know how to do but they've never had. So I can get my house, so I can get away from Staten Island, so I can get away from New York and give my family a better life. That's what I had to do. And that's what sobriety gave me. I am grateful. I'm grateful for sobriety. I'm grateful for God for being there with me, for Him being at every step that I have. Let me tell you something, guys. God has given me everything that I've asked for. And I'm not lying to you when I say that. He's given me everything. But it is me who strays away. It is me who takes a different path sometimes. The same thing He giveth, He takes it. And that is the truth. He can't take away the sobriety because that's me. Only I can take away the sobriety because God's not going to make me commit a sin. God's not going to say, here's a beard. The devil might do that, but God will never do that. So me losing my sobriety, that's on me. Him giving me something that I asked for. And him and I did an interaction, a pre-pro quo. And I don't complete up with that pre-pro quo, he's going to take that back. But the sobriety, that's me. He helped me because he was there. He was step of the way. He held my hand. But he cannot say, hey, here's another beer. I'm going to take that away from you. No, he can't do that. Only I can do that. Only I. Not no parent, not no family member, not nobody, but you. So if you really want to survive, if you really want to do good, I suggest you go to rehab. I suggest you go to detox. I suggest you find some way to become sober, and you're gonna see that mother that you had, that she loved you before, she still loves you now. She's gonna love you more, even more. Because my son is freed, my daughter is freed. Your wife is gonna love you more. Your wife's gonna see you better. Your kids are gonna love you more. It's everything that you had before, but then some. The good stuff. But you just gotta stay true to yourself, and forget the naysayers, and forget about what everybody else says. Stay true to you. Do what you gotta do for yourself. Put your faith in God. Put your faith in you, and you're gonna see how things are gonna change. It may not be overnight, but it's gonna take time. And when that time comes, and you see yourself, you say, "Wow, I've come a long way." And if I was part of that, and if I was part of that decision making of you turning your life around, hopefully you say, "Wow, when I saw King Gio's video, that turned my life around." That makes me happy that I was able to help somebody else. Okay? If you see a kid in distress in the streets, When you see a kid suffering in the streets, don't give him your back. Ask him questions, where you're from, what you're doing in the streets. And if you can get that person shelter, take him to an agency or take that person back home, do that. We don't want to lose our kids to the streets. The streets are bad. That's where these pedophiles are at. You don't want to get kids to a pedophile. So with that said, think about it this way. You own your own destiny. Don't let anybody else tell you that. You are your own destiny. You own your own future. The past is the past. Forget about the past. You can't do about the past. But you own your own destiny. You own your own future. So whenever it is that you decide enough is enough, take this with you and say to yourself the day that you wake up, today, I'm not going to drink. And you're going to see how that happens and how that works. God bless you, everybody, and hope you had a good day. Hope you enjoy your Saturday, your Sunday, your Monday, whenever it is that you see this video. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Axel Rod, for everything. Thank you, sir, and Kyoba. And thank you for those who are going to watch in the future. Subscribe to my channel. I want to make this channel good for you guys. I want to make comedy. There's I have a lot of talent. But one of the things that I get a passion to the most is HIV and sobriety, and also women's human rights and activism, because I know we live in a systemic system that is very, very racist, and I would like to get my views across that. We're coming up to an election, and I don't want the Reds to win. I'm sorry. If they had good candidates, I'd say great, let's go for it. But unfortunately, they don't. But that's for another chapter. That's for another book. Stay sober. Today, stay sober. All right, guys? I love you, man.